Hello, my dear friends. Very good late evening, 23rd February 2026, Monday. Gautam Komal Gandha lies Gautam Bandyopadhyay's presence through Meta Facebook Live. My subject on date is related to folk and traditional music. It is usual to distinguish between classical or art and folk music. But a definition of distinction between the two has not been made so far, so that no clear line can be drawn demarcating the boundaries. There are always forms like Kirtan of Bengal, Abhang of Maharashtra, and Padam of Andhra Pradesh, which are set in sophisticated molds but yet are not considered strictly classical. A reasonable statement that can be made of folk music is that it has no conscious grammar. Even it is a grammar which changes historically like classical music. It has no consciously guided history which controls its growth. Classical music, on the other hand, has a structure which is accepted as more or less definite and in, inviolable, though this is really a questionable assumption. A raga, a tala, a dhrupad, or a varnam is fabricated as if it can suffer no major changes in its form. A folk song, for instance, a lali patta, a lullaby from Andhra, has a definite from a form in music and even in text, but the singer does not intentionally follow a grammar. She or he goes along with the way of social tradition without enquiry, which obviously would only mar the beauty of the music. Such music is not a product of conservators. And the most widely accepted definition of a folk song is that it has no known authorship. We do not know who wrote its text and who composed its music. If these two things are separately done at all in a folk song, a baul, a mystic minstrel of Bengal was once asked why no effort was made to preserve the names of the composers of their songs. But I do agree that many ancient baul singers, such as Lalon Fokir, Bhava Pagla, that Goswami, many ancient reputed Bengal folk singers, they logically accepted and they created the songs, and they also wrote various Bengali folk songs based on, and they produced the songs which is melodiously nowadays we love to listen their songs. The elderly baul pointing first to full river where boats were passing under sail, and then to the almost dry canal where boats stood on the mud answered, do the boats under full sail leave any trace of their passage? The track of the boat being pushed along the canal is marked plainly in the mud. Which is the simpler and more natural way? Ours is the simple way. The leaving of footprints is artificial and unimportant. This anonymity of authorship has always been considered to be of prime importance for a folk song, but it is not always possible to accept such a sin canon. The Padams of Bhadrachala Ramdas, the Devar Nams of Dases of Karnataka, the Bhajans of Kabir, the Abhangs of Eknath and Tukaram of Maharashtra. All these have entered the home and that hearts of the untrained folk. They are often snug to tunes which can scarcely be called as classical, but some of them have been become that syllables and play songs for children. Yet sometimes the authorship of this does not come to light, and we could then not remove them from the class of folk music. And for their music is still simple without intended and planned structure. Again, no one knows, with rare exceptions, the originators of ragas and talas, yet this ignorance about their sources does not make them folk music. The greatest significant quality of folk music is its social relation. Art music, on the contrary, has often no social function than aesthetic satisfaction. If not mere entertainment, ragas and talas, for example, have no connection with showing, reaping, war, marriage, childbirth, and so on. In contrast, folk songs have intimate associations with such group or individual activities. It is therefore easy to describe them in terms of functional categories. And the greatest significant quality of folk music is its social relation. Art music, on the contrary, has often no social function other than aesthetic satisfaction, if not mere entertainment. Ragas and talas, for example, have no connection with showing, reaping, war, marriage, childbirth, and so on. In contrast, folk songs have intimate associations with such group or individual activities which I quoted earlier. It is therefore easy to describe them in terms for functional categories. The most generalized life of the village is its proximity and dependence on nature and its bounty. An office goer in a metropolis or a factory worker has very little knowledge of the effects of rain or sun on his life, except that he may have to take out his raincoat if he does not want his clothes to be spoilt. A tiller in the field or a hunter in the woods is deeply in communion with the stars, the clouds, the river, and the trees. They tell him when to sow, when to reap, and when the fish will be in plenty. Nature is both the bountiful, nature is beautiful mother and the terrible scourge. So he sings in praise of her and that begs of her mercy. She is beautiful, but she can be ugly. Hence, there are songs of seven which rains come and there is a promise of plenty. But there is also the longing in the maiden's heart. A simple but lovely Tamil song runs thus: it will rain finely, mother, the country will turn green, thus will it rain. Roundly, roundly will it rain, everywhere in the world will it rain. There is a song for every month, for every season. Chaitra has the Chaiti songs and the rains have Kajiri. The Baramasa, the songs of 12 months, are sung almost everywhere in North India and describe the clouds of Ashar, the rains of Savan, the lighting of the lamps of Kartik, the spring buds of Magh, the festival of colors of Fagun. It is not mere description, but the individual becomes the rain, the river, and the earth. A paddy sprouts from Mother Earth. The woman longs for a child in her womb. And may the spring never forget to enter our village. O Guang, give us rice in plenty. O Guang, be kind to fields and women. O Guang, as a woman embraces her lover, may the earth embrace the seed. And the urge to that procure and the youth and his love to sing to each other of the happiness of their union, the sorrow of a separation and of hopes and expectations. A Bihu song of Assam goes thus, that Bihu song from Northeast. I shall be swan and swim in your tank. I shall be a pigeon and sit on your roof. I shall be preservation and enter your body. I shall be a fly and kiss your cheek. The Mohma Rang lyrics of Andhra have a delicate beauty, all their own. The moon-struck girl sings, if you become the moon, my love, I will with the light of the moon. How close ever I will follow you. Come, charming Rang, how close ever I will follow you. The young gate, better hold and wait to find fulfillment to each other. Marriage has therefore to be celebrated with eclat and joy. Whether an arranged marriage or otherwise, it is a major occasion in a person's life and the beginning of new and great social responsibilities. Songs for such occasions abound in every community to welcome the groom, to decorate the bride of the nuptial chamber on quarrels of the parties, and so on. The Oraon maiden in strange loneliness says, the dove calls in the hills, the hills. I have no mother and I can't sleep. I have no father and I can't sleep. Parental home, the sweet place of security and love, has to be left for strangers and the mother-in-law's supremacy. Here is a Kanra song on the bride's life at the in-laws. Mother, how can I praise my father-in-law before you? Mother, how can I praise my father-in-law before you? Mother said, My life is not happy. It is like plantains and artificially repained in the basket. Mother replied, my life is not happy. It is like plantains artificially repained in the basket. Marriage begets children. A daughter is not welcome, for she will leave the home, and a dowry has to be paid for her marriage. But if a son is born, he will be an additional bread earner. This attitude is common throughout the country and has been a source of many a song. While songs of playing with children and songs of children at play are plenty, lullabies are the finest in the society. A Gujarati mother puts her child to sleep thus: the cradle is made of gold, the bells make jingling sound. Sleep, baby, sleep. Four dolls on four pillars, peacocks sit on strings. Sleep, baby, sleep, baby. As the child grows into an adult, it has to work for its living, and the family has to be supported. The earth has to be and watered shades, and water shades sown and corn ripped. Grain has to be taken to the market and sold. Perhaps where the society is more primitive and food is obtained by hunting, the gods of the forest have to be propitiate, while the man toil in the field, fish in the sea, or hunt in the woods. The women fetch water from the village well or a nearby stream, cook, look after the children, and thrash the corn. A Pulain of Kerala has these two ways. Sitting on the stone, O crab, move a little from the stone, O crab, let me plug the field, O crab, move a little from the stone, O crab. Again, O pretty maiden, where have your brothers gone? They are out to collect reeds. What is the use of reeds? The reeds are good for making cots. A song of the spinning wheel from Punjab complains, my spinning wheel is made of kikar wood. Get me a wheel of sandal, darling. I will not spin cotton. I will not spin wool. Get me silk to spin, darling. My spinning wheel is made of kikar wood, darling. Get me a wheel of sandal, darling. Ballads are a very important section of the people's music. They do not generally have the lyrical qualities of folk poetry as in songs instanced above. Of course, it is not necessary that they devoid of such content, but ballads are more concerned with advancing the statement of fact and to help the narrative. They are the unwritten history of the community. Naturally, every people have their own heroes and heroines. Andhra's Burak Katha and Maharashtra, that Povara and the Kata Barman songs of that Katta Baman songs of Tamil Nadu, the Pud of the Pat of Rajasthan, and all sings of the glories of their that valors and men, women, and logs that enrich the that success of their glory. Fine examples are the war songs of Rajasthan, which, as Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore said, have been created out of her blood. These poems called Doha or sung by bards known as charms. A charm could be a cattle breeder on an itinerant trader who, besides his regular profession of raising cattle and horses or selling arms, goes round singing legends of martial inspiration. When you reach the battlefield, my love, what will you hold superior? Your companions are three: a stout heart, a sharp sword, and a strong hand. A large class of songs can be classified as religious and festive. The number of religious groups, from the most elemental and that anthropomorphic to the most refined, are so many, and the nature and number of songs are equally varied. The village goddess, perhaps demanding animal sacrifice, but has to be pleased if the corn is to grow high, if smallpox is not to visit the hamlet. Or it may be a prayer of the finest devotion and most subtle that of the festival songs may be cited Chaiti Parav of Orissa and border areas, the music of the spring, when groups of young men go round the village collecting money to spend on intoxicants. Singing continues throughout the night in the local shrines, seeking the blessings of the goddess. The singer exclaims, "Victory to you, goddess Mahamai, victory to you, Mother Kalika. I begin my song in your name. Be kind and make my throat your seat." While such are the songs of the simpler that tribes, and the more sophisticated have devotional music of a different order. Bengal, for instance, has Baul and Kirtan. Baul is a wandering mendicant and that detached from the turmoils of society, and the songs he sings are also called baul. Temples and mosques conceal your way. I hear your call and cannot come, O Lord. The gurus and murshids stand bearing my path. The demarcation of folk and art or classical music in India is really vague. The kind of music which finds a place in village gatherings, temples, and services, rural threads, as well as in concerts, has a that of its own, and it is sung and played very often in definable ragas and talas. There is then a necessity to distinguish between tribal and folk music on the one hand and the classical music on the other, with a third category which, for a lack of a suitable word, is sometimes called traditional music. Under the last fall, kirtan, that Tevaram, Padam, Avam, various forms of that theatrical music, and so on, some of which have already been described briefly earlier. Kirtans are that Songs both that Shakto and worshipping Lord Vishnu, Krishna, and Goddess Shakti. Of great poetic and musical beauty, they are the special features of Bengal. Of the best known composers of kirtans may be mentioned that Chandidas and Chaitanya. Similarly, the poems and lyrics of Mirabai, Kabir, Dadu, and Tulsi have pervaded the common folk and elite throughout the Hindi speaking areas. Abhang of Eknath, Gyaneshwar, and Tukaram have given us in Marathi some of the finest religious poems in music that we know of. South India has padas of Bhadrachala Ramdas and Devar of Purandara and other dasas that Saivik saints and the Saivik sons and the Savas of the Sikhs and the Kalbams and the Muslims are also of this category, and whatever that Christian influence has deeply, as in Goa, Kerala, and Nagaland hymns in Western musical style, but in the local dialect have become common. The religious music of the people offers a very rich field for the meeting of folk and classical art. Quite a number of songs are simple tunes sung to the accompaniment of ektara, a monochord, and a chipla of kartal, that clappers. Many are that sung in Samaj and Bhajans Goshti devotional groups. They are therefore of necessity uncomplicated, though the degree of sophistication of such music makes them suspect as folk songs. Neither do they have the fineness and that strictness of classical music, and hence cannot strictly be considered so. The all the above outline of the kinds of folk songs which one may come across in India has preferred to be sketchy, for this as a vast, ancient, and variegated land from Himalayan snows to tropical jungles, from the arid deserts of Rajasthan to fertile valley of the Ganga, from the stony plateau of Deccan to the sandy sea shores of the peninsula, and the terrain, the ferns, the flora, and the human settlements differ multifold. Lives are different, social structures are different, and ancestries are different, from Australoid to Aryan, from gypsy to tribal huntsman. Ethnical group present their own culture patterns. There are areas which have not yet touched by the current techno civilization. There are also the highly congested cities with all their ugliness naturally, with so a million of the music of the soil is also equally varied in its social relations, content, and form. The musical forms of these songs and tunes also show great differences. At the privable levels, it is not even easy to recognize the musically of some. For instance, the shuffling dance of certain Nagas is accompanied by a kind of grunt which can scarcely be called music, yet it does sound musical. So are the yells and that secrecies of many a folk and tribal group. This is a part there are certain types of recitations called that that Chadnikas with which are prose songs. They are often sung by bards and heralds that in praise of kings and gods, while the music is still folkish. Ever a composer like Tyagaraja Tyagaraja has introduced that Charnikas in the opera, for example, Jayatu in Prahlad Bhakti Vijayam. The simplest music would be, of course, of a single tone. Such monotones, singos was the that monotones was the archic style of reciting Ved. The tone and three-tone chants were known as Gathika and Samika. That recitative music of this kind found not only in this that Padam and this, but also in many songs of children and even adults. Some obis of Maharashtra employ only two or three notes. From such that rudimentary incarnations to highly developed tunes, we must meet any stage and time. As in melody, so in rhythm, the most elementary are the 3 unit and 4 unit beats. But even at the tribal levels, rhythm has already grown into a very intricate art. The drumming of the that santals, to give an example, thou seemingly that primitive and that primitive is extraordinarily complex. What is more, it has already got standardized that folk drumming and of Kardi Maju of Karnataka is another such, which only goes to show that folk music is not always simpler than classical music. What is of importance is to realize and acknowledge the fact that this music of the masses is of the soil from which the art music of the elite has sprung, and to which it has to turn again and again to obtain sustains. We may not easily recognize the affinity of more refined ragas to the cruder folk tunes, but one can still find their patterns there in budding forms. It would be more than absurd to call some of these tunes of tribes and villages as ragas and their rhythms as talas, for they have not yet been given a grammar. None, that nonetheless, as we listen to a snake charmer on his pungi, we cannot but connect the tune with that Nadam Karya Raga, the common lullaby, Bala to Jor in Marathi, has the nucleus of ragas and sarang, rag and sarang. Other patterns made with are those of ragas Bhupali, that Bhairavi, Bilawal, Pilu Kafi of North India, and Kurnaji and Chenjuriti, that Ananda Bhairavi of South Indian music. Parallelly, that that rhythmic tri and trital rupak of Jumra, all these types of Adi and Champa are usual, and it is from these melodies and beats that greatest of concert music draws its life. This was really folk and traditional music that, in a small brief, I would also love to share that mind and music, the Indian theory of emotions, has been usually associated with the specially literary that appreciation in the well-known theory of rasa, that mainly based on what is termed sometimes as the Hindu psychology. The psychology recognizes the role of the unconscious and racial memory instincts under the comprehensive word that vasana and that sanskar, these forces which form the core of motivation of human behavior are not only the memory of the race, but also that of the individual through his innumerable cycles of births. This collective memory of a person is not merely unconscious but guides his feelings and actions at all levels of that life. At birth, he is formed of only these vasanas and sanskars. As he comes into contact with the environment, but his ego slowly develops with its various modes of effective activities at conscious stot and conscious strata, what is usually called emotional behavior. The word rasa is generally translated as emotion, release, etc. A closer study would not warrant such a facile interpretation, and hence it often is equated to that aesthetic emotion. However, it is best to omit that notation of sentiment completely and translate it as aesthetics. This distinction, though very fine, is yet a significant one. So, these are the basic briefs of mind and music. So, dear friends, thank you very much. Be connected with Gautam Komal Gandhar, last Gautam Mandopadhyay of Jayasree Park, Kolkata. So, nice to meet all of you through my Meta Facebook Live. So, in this way, I always try my best to keep myself engaged, busy with the subjects related to spiritual, music, literature, etc. Thank you very much, dear friends. Be happy, be healthy, be musically tuned each other, and spiritually blessed. Good night.